All right, we'll stay with this particular story now and speak to Judges Matter Coordinator Alison Tilley. Alison, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. Your reaction to this development?
Well, I think there are a number of things that jump out at you with this complaint. And I think one of them is that it was first lodged in 2020. And we're now 4 years later. And I think that raises the concern that we've been talking about, which is how long it takes to resolve these matters, and that we really do need the amendment to the legislation creating the Judicial Conduct Committee so that it's bigger and can deal with more issues. But I suppose, secondly, it just highlights again the difficulties in the Western Cape division, which came up in the last round of JSC hearings, and the various problems that have plagued the division for many years now.
And I'm going to get to the latter part of your answer in just a moment. I want to stay with the first part. Can the time issue here impact this investigation at all?
No, it's not like a matter where a claim prescribes, like in civil law, there's no restriction that I'm aware of on the length of time that the JCC takes to deal with matters, or the JSC more broadly. But I think it's obvious that 4 years is a really undesirable length of time before a matter is resolved, especially given the difficulties in the Western Cape, where the fact that matters have been dragging on so long certainly can't have helped the really toxic atmosphere in that court.
And I suppose, again, as you say, it lays bare yet another layer of the difficulties and the toxicity in that particular court. And I suppose, as you and I, were even saying at some point, that the work of the new judge president is actually cut out for them, because this is an area that they need to look at very, very closely.
I think exactly so. The new JP is coming in with a big job to do. The division has really been suffering over the last several years, a lack of collegiality, a difficulty in coming together as a division. And certainly this is one of the things that she is going to have to deal with. She certainly said that her relationship with the deputy judge president, with Judge Goliath, is a good one. We hope that they will be able to work together and really bring to a conclusion the difficult situation there's been in the courts for so many years now.
And when you look at, the nature of the complaint itself and as far as it has been detailed, some have said that this is actually quite serious and it does warrant this kind of investigation. And others have simply said that for them, this is yet just another complaint that they don't see going anywhere. I wonder what would your take be on the seriousness of the allegations that are leveled here?
I'm probably less concerned about the seriousness of the allegations. I mean, if you are in a position as the Chief Justice was, where he had this ongoing feud, frankly, in the division between the Judge President and the Deputy Judge President, for him to have a off-the-record conversation with the Judge President, with the Deputy Judge President regarding the allegations of judicial misconduct against Dr. Hlophe, I think it doesn't rise to the level of gross misconduct. There may be a concern that he then proceeded in the matter without disclosing that meeting, but it doesn't rise to the level of an impeachable gross misconduct. And certainly, the former Chief Justice is now the former Chief Justice. He is retired. So, yeah, it's difficult to see how much substance there really can be to this issue.
And you touch on an issue that I wanted to raise as well, because I have been, watching commentary on this matter, and others are saying, how will it then work? Because he's now retired. He's a retired Chief Justice. Does this then mean that they follow the same processes that they would have followed before? Do you have any idea of how it all unfolds now?
Well, what we know from other cases, and the Sariti matter in particular, is that retired judges are similarly held to the same standards. So it's not like when you retire from a workplace and they can no longer proceed with a disciplinary action against you. And what we've seen before, for example, in the complaint against the Chief Justice in regard to his comments on Israel, it would have been a verbal reprimand, I suppose is one word for it, and then a request that he issue an apology, which he then duly did. So I would imagine that it will be more along those lines than, for example, Judge Mutata and his impeachment. So that's how I would anticipate that it goes. But as you know, with last-minute applications and urgent interdicts, it's always a very interesting space to watch and see what happens. Interesting indeed, and it's always one that has, as you say, twists and turns that one never sees coming. But let's see how it plays out. Alison, appreciate your time this afternoon. That was Alison Tilley, Judges Matter Coordinator.